Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, and this is your daily news. So headlines, Elon Musk repeats call for artificial intelligence regulation. And this is a quote from Musk: "There is real danger for digital superintelligence having negative consequences. I am in favor of AI regulation." And if you guys remember, it was a few months ago, Elon Musk had a letter that he got a bunch of people to sign, and it was like, hey, we should pause AI development. But as many people in the community had pointed out, when Elon Musk said these kind of things, is basically, hey, pause so that I can catch up, and then you can resume again. So the reason why I mention this stuff is, I feel like we're in an AI sort of hype bubble thing, and this may be the top, and I'll give you some evidence on why. But, when everywhere you turn, it's all AI. And then when, you're trying to convince retail investors that this is the future, this is essentially when you're convincing people to buy at the top, right? You can see tech stock boom pits AI against the Fed, right? You guys know this. The Fed is keeping interest rates high. Yeah, for whatever reason, AI stocks are pumping. Dan Ives, who is a serial pumper, you can read the headlines here. Top tech analyst Dan Ives says the AI, quote, gold rush is just like the dot-com boom, but it's 95, not 99. Now, you guys may or may not know, I am 48, so I lived through the dot-com bubble, also lived through the '08 financial crash. I can just tell you, to me, this feels more like the dot-com bubble. Ives is telling you something different, but I disagree. And Ives is a pumper dude. And if you don't know who this is, he's the one who goes on CNBC and he wears, like, I'm not making it up, he had blue suit, red suit, purple suit. Let's just be honest, it's a clown suit. And if you didn't know about Dan Ives too, it's actually really interesting. He was involved with the SEC charges scandal. His former company was here from 2013 to 2017. They had some. The phrase is, I think it's not irregulars, improprieties, long-running accounting improprieties. And this is him here in the SEC notice to Daniel Ives. So you can look at it yourself, but to be fair, it was, I think he was fined like $15,000. So not like a major fine, but he was involved in this kind of stuff. And yes, he's a material pumper. So just be careful out there. More evidence that, this is essentially a bubble. Like everywhere you look. Now on the opposite, if you say, no, Chris, it's not a bubble, all these, things are, we need to jump on the train. This is the future, right? I mean, France is like, hey, we're going to make, what does it say? Headline: France makes high-profile push to AI to be the hub of Europe, setting up challenge to US and China. Even Macron thinks AI is the place to be. Netanyahu over in Israel. Evidently, Intel is going to be building a chip plant. Now, this isn't necessarily AI related, like per se, but it's certainly part of the hype. I just feel like that we're very toppy because look at this headline, and this is where like the kind of like sort of BS headlines that there are. This is the yogurt company. And you guys can tell me, is it Danone or Danone? How do you say it? But should be, if it's French, should be Danone. I'm not gonna say it, but I took a year of college, but I don't remember how to say Danone. Danone pins turnaround hopes on AI, and so basically, I guess the yogurt company, they're not making a ton of money. When you read through the thing, they're making the case, to investors that, hey, you should invest in our company because we're using AI to make yogurt, more healthy, have more vitamins, and we're going to manufacture better using the power of AI. And it just, when you hear this kind of stuff, it just feels like a scam to me, to be really frank. And, for those of you who are new to the market and do these kind of things, just to understand that sometimes you can buy at the top. So this is an example of Cisco. If you would have bought Cisco back in 2000, you can see this at the top here, you would have actually not have recovered your money. And never reached the peak again. So do be careful out there. And when you look at something like an Nvidia, it's trading at a PE ratio of 221. That is the price of the stock compared to the amount of money the company earns. That is very, very high. And just for argument's sake, look at Cisco. It has a PE of 18, right? It's very, very different. I want to show you some other things too regarding Nvidia and whether or not this is the top of the AI bubble. You can read the headlines for yourself. Another Nvidia board member unloads stock, this time to the tune of 21 million, and that was dated on June 17th, 2023. So his name is Tench Cox, and then I guess he sold another 38 million before in May. That's the third largest holder of Nvidia, and then the largest holder is the CEO Jensen Huang, and then another board member, Mark Stevens. I actually have the list of sales of insiders You can see here, it's mostly selling by insiders. So this is a very negative indicator. Someone sold, so that was Tench that we just mentioned, sold $21 million worth 3 days ago. Right. And then Harvey Jones, another one, sold 48 million 5 days ago. Harvey Jones again sold 28 million. And someone else, Colette Kress, that's an executive vice president and the CFO, sold about 2.5 million. That was 18 days ago. So you guys can make up what you think on that. If you ask the AI, since we're talking about AI, what is Nvidia? What's a fair value? This is giving me a read of $162. It's currently trading at 426. It's hard to make the case that it is fair value right now. So I'll be willing to bet that this is the top, but we'll see. I'm just saying it feels like very toppy to me. Other bit of news, which is actually really quite interesting and related to chips, is Blinken. So that's their Secretary of State in the U.S. They're heading out to China for some meetings. And one of the things that was really interesting is to determine whether or not this is a successful meeting or not, is whether or not Blinken gets a meeting with China's President Xi. So as of yet, they haven't met. And it's funny because the reason why I mention that is if you take a look at this, President Xi actually did meet with Bill Gates. And this could be a political move to show like, hey, I'm taking meetings. I'm just not meeting with U.S. politicians, but I'm willing to meet with, U.S. business people to sort of indicate that we want your money, but we don't want your politics. So we'll see. However, if President Xi meets with Blinken, that'll probably be the biggest indication of whether or not it's a successful trip. The two countries do need each other, though. I'm sure you guys know, they're trading partners. We buy stuff from them. They buy stuff from us. We manufacture stuff over there and we ship it over here, etc. Now, certainly, this has been a situation to where their GDP is forecasted to go not as high as before. You can read this. This also just came out just June 18th. Goldman joins Wall Street banks in cutting China's growth outlook as post-COVID bounce fades. So there was another stat we looked at the other day where it was like youth unemployment was, 20%, something like that. And again, that's unemployment at 20%, which is really high. And, you look at this where Goldman's cutting their forecast of GDP. It's you're just not getting double-digit growth like you did before in China. So, for example, before Goldman had China's growth GDP at 6%, it's currently at 5.4 is what they're projecting. The biggest bull on China was Bank of America at 6.3% projection, but now they have it cut to 5.7. And I guess the bear would be Nomura. They have them at 5.1. UBS is at 5.2. So all of the new projections of the banks are all under 6. And this is really quite interesting because if you contrast that, Japan has been rallying, so their market is at a 33-year high. Warren Buffett has been dumping money in Japan as well, but we'll see how that goes because the interesting thing about Japan is they have a population problem, as you guys know, and actually have the similar problem here in Korea also. So, one of the things that I've always said, though, however, is that as the USA moves away from China, your chances are you're going to be investing in, say, Vietnam or in India. I think those are where the growth is going to be if you're looking for growth. And my personal opinion is that the U.S. should have stronger ties with like a Taiwan, Korea, and Japan, because frankly, guys, they're our friends. China, I don't want to say like they're our enemies, but we'll say competitor is a better way to put it. And we'll see how the meeting goes. And and when I look at the U.S. and you guys know, like I said, I'm in Korea, and people always ask me, what's it like being in Korea compared to the USA? I'll tell you, when I look at the U.S. news and you see these kind of headlines, there's a headline coming from the USA. Homeless numbers rise in U.S. cities. And I read it through. This just came out of the Wall Street Journal. And they looked at like a bunch of different, state and metro readings. And I think it was like they looked at 150 different areas. And there was like 100 of them had reported that homelessness had gone up. And it's not surprising to me because when we were in North Carolina or, we were in California, and I was just recently in Maryland visiting my mom on the Baltimore area. To be honest, it was terrible. There's like beggars on the street and it's homeless. And I just don't want to be around that environment. I don't think I'm seeing anything crazy. I understand that there's people way to the left of me and saying, oh, we should, build houses for homeless people and stuff like that. I'm not really in that camp. I always laugh because I don't mean to be heartless or anything, but I just, this kind of problem is really, really tough to solve. And a lot of it is drug related. There are other things, and I'm sure people have all sorts of opinions, but regardless of what your opinion is, the cause of it, I just don't want to be around it. And this is sort of one of the things that I really like about living here. Yes, and actually this is true. Yes, we do have homelessness in Korea, but not to the extent that it is in America. And the other issue too is like, and this is real, this is just on June 18th. I mean, both these articles at the same time. I guess there's some sort of shooting in Chicago, 20 people. And it's the same stuff in USA, and it's just a hassle. And I mean hassle. It's just like living, worrying about your safety, worrying about homelessness kind of stuff. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not just making random stuff up. And I show you these things and put it together with the other news. Is I feel like on the one side we have people pumping you get rich quick schemes and AI stuff like that. And then also on the other side, you have other people, sort of the reverse part of the I guess bottom part of the spectrum, where are so desperate to believe in any kind of hype. And that's why I put these things together, because I want you to understand sort of how these sort of bubbly, hypey things work, because you're taking advantage of vulnerable people. And sadly, on YouTube, as I pointed out several times on this channel, there's a lot of people, when they see vulnerable people, they think, oh my God, these look at these people I can exploit because they're desperate and they're willing to try anything. And unfortunately, it works, right? If you're willing to do that. I don't do that. I've never done that, and I'm sorry for the whole situation that it is in USA. And sort of why, how do I help the situation is provide you guys education. So, I try my best with these things. Like I show you guys, hey, I'm looking at insider sales. It looks like when insiders are selling, usually that's when it's time to get out. You don't want to be buying when they're selling, right? If insiders are buying at a company, then it's like, hey, they have confidence that the stock is at a good enough price to buy. And I just feel like everywhere we look right now is all AI hype and AI pumping. And I just don't see it. Not that I don't see that, computers and artificial intelligence are the future, but I just don't think it's as transformative as people making it out to be. And if you don't believe me, just remember, was a year or so ago, that we're all going to be, in the metaverse. You guys remember that? That was like pumping every day. And I was like, what the heck are you guys talking about? And they were even doing the avatar stuff on CNBC. And then before that, it was all that crypto craze and stuff. And this is also true. You can totally make monies on these things, but just understand that it is all a game. And it's not something you necessarily want to, just like hold it and close your eyes and forget about the world around you and think you're going to be rich. So that's the sort of the message that I have for you today. Hopefully these are useful and helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any one of these stories, and I'll catch you in the next video.